current parking service that's provided by the council. We've operated decriminalised parking since 2005. There's a team of 7 enforcement officers and a parking supervisor. It covers 3 controlled parking zones in Grays, Stanford-le-Hope and South Ockenden. There are 2 permit parking areas, 10 off-street car parks and all the on-street waiting and loading restrictions across the borough, as well as the 1,161 marked bays for off-street parking, 1,255 for on-street parking, and 78 off-street and 195 on-street spaces that are not marked out as individual bays. We also enforce Morrison's supermarket car parking Grays by agreement, and there is an income generated through this that Morrison's pay an annual charge for. In 2014-2015, Council issued around 9,000 penalty charge notices, that's parking tickets, and 2,731 residence permits. The number of residence permits and requests for residence permits is going up. That's largely due to concerns around commuter traffic, particularly in areas around Grays, where commuters seem to be wanting to walk a little bit further. But obviously it's a great inconvenience for local residents if their car parking is all being taken up by commuters. Parking enforcement is undertaken primarily to maintain the safety of highway users, but also to tackle congestion and support local communities, shops in the town centre, residents to be able to get parked, and also to include the management of conflicts between different types of road users. In terms of our direction of travel, 2013 to 2014 was a particularly challenging year for the parking team, and you see that this is reflected in the revenue figures. There was some staff sickness absence that placed strain on service, and there was some other bits and pieces going on that made it quite difficult for the team to break even that year. There was a deficit, and that meant that we weren't able to reinvest the money. However, measures have been put in place to address the issues, and a change in management structure was brought in January 2015. The 2014-2015 outturn was a surplus of £182,000 plus. So that's a really good success in terms of the management restructure. It shows that things are working, things are going in the right direction. It's a positive thing for the parking team, and I'm very appreciative to the team for having managed to turn that situation around. They are looking at a series of efficiency improvements that are currently being implemented, and we have a target of increasing the surplus to 389,859 in 2015-2016. There are different areas for efficiency improvements being looked at, which are mainly centres around the improved enforcement hardware and software. There's a lot of new kinds of software and hardware that can be used for parking enforcement that are a lot cheaper than we currently run, and actually better and more efficient and save staff hours in terms of downloading data that's been picked up whilst out on the beat, so to speak. We're also looking into the feasibility of increasing the supply of chargeable spaces, looking at trying to improve where we deploy civil enforcement officers, or traffic wardens as they used to be called, and possibly looking into the feasibility of increasing pay-by-phone opportunities, as well as linking up with other teams within the Transportation Highway Service, the wider council and community partners. One area that the team is looking into is HGV enforcement. I know this is a big deal for a lot of residents across the borough, particularly Thurrock is a centre for logistics, and this is one of the side effects. So there can be issues where these are associated with activity at the ports or with local companies' logistics operations. We are needing to work much more closely with those ports, those logistics companies, and the police to make sure that there is actually a proper plan for dealing with HGVs, and making sure that their activities aren't causing problems for local residents. So we are working closely together, and hopefully future changes will minimise the inconvenience to residents and improve the safety of our residents as well. There's There's another plan that we're working on at the moment. There's a pilot. It's called the Schoolgate Parking trial. It's being trialled at a school in Tilbury. It's looking essentially for a community response, community-led kind of response to parking problems outside schools. If anyone here has small children or has to go anywhere near a road with a school on it, you will know how unsafe, how dangerous, how congested some school roads can get. The idea of this trial is essentially to put it back into the community's hands to try and enforce parking. We have a volunteer in Tilbury who's actually been trained how to actually enforce traffic violations. The trial seems to be going quite well so far, so it'd be interesting to see if we could roll that out further. And with that, I'll throw it open to any questions.